it's Miranda here. I wanted to talk to you guys tonight about a question that I had asked of me in the closed Facebook group, the Medical Aesthetics Mindset Warriors. And the question came to me as in, how do I sell myself on the phone? And it's quite a specific request, but I wanted to take it a little bit wider. And I tried to get empathetic with you guys. I tried to put myself in your shoes, which I have very much been in your shoes. I've been in this industry for 10 years and I've spent pretty much 10 years on the phone. I'm not a clinician myself, so I've spent a great deal of time on the phone. But one of the things that I always struggled with, and I know you guys struggle with as well, is how do you sell yourself, whether it be on the phone, whether it be, face to face with a client, whether it be through your marketing. How do you sell yourself when, if you're really honest, you don't actually believe in yourself yet? And this title, I'm conscious, it's almost a little bit controversial because, if you were being a massive purist, you might say, well, you shouldn't sell yourself if you don't believe in yourself, because it jars a little bit, doesn't it? But I think we have to get real with ourselves about this. I've been in this game 10 years. I've been talking to you guys about mindset issues for, a couple of years. And I still have self-doubt. Now, there are ways that I manage that. The way to manage self-doubt, I believe, is through action. Is through taking action to prove to yourself that you can do it. But that's a whole other topic. But I still have self-doubt. So I know that there will always be an element of you that experiences self-doubt, even if it goes. And so we have to find a way through that and still be able to sell ourselves. Because if my solution to self-doubt is action, then obviously you're going to have to act anyway, even if you feel the fear of selling yourself. So the sequence probably is, I know I need to sell myself, got to do the marketing. Oh my God, how can I market myself when I don't even believe in myself? Miranda says the solution to self-doubt is action. Right, let's crack on with the action. So you can see that you're going to have to do it anyway. You're going to have to sell yourself anyway. So I want to keep this live quite short, just about a quarter of an hour. But I have two solutions. And one is a mindset solution. It's still very practical, but the second one is even more practical. And interestingly, stay with me for the second one, because in a way, it might almost negate the need for the first one. It's a bit of a Jedi mind trick. And it's something that I've learned kind of weirdly in more recent years on the phones. So the first thing that I want to tell you about tonight, guys. Oh, by the way, drop me a 1 if you're watching live, just to give me a or some kind of emoji. I quite like that emoji. I'm a fan of that one. It sort of is like power to the people. So the first way round this issue, I think, is to actually drop the bullshit in your head just for a moment. Just park it. Just say the self-doubt, the self-talk, which says, I'm shit, what am I doing? I've got no experience. The person down the road is blatantly better than me and I'm charging the same price. All this, just park it for just 1 minute. Feel free to come back to it in a bit. But just work with me on a very, very, very simple little tactic. Just humour me. Even if you think, well, that sounds like bollocks. Just humour me. Just grab a pen and paper and let's do something together. Let's just grab a pen and paper and let's just write ourselves a very simple little, what I call asset register. Now it sounds fancy, but it's not. It's basically just a list of your assets. Now you probably have something going on in your head a little bit already with this. You might be thinking, well, I'm a nurse, I've been doing nursing 15 years, whatever. You might have something like that. But let's write this mofo down. Let's once and for all write down, let's try and get 15 things, something like that. And then we can rank them if we want, and we can see which ones flow out of our mouths the best. But let's fucking write these things down. Now, so you're writing down what's good about you, basically. Now, the thing about this is it's a bit of a dangerous activity, because if you start to write these things down and you get stuck, You're gonna probably make that mean, oh no, I'm terrible. Oh, Miranda, you've made me feel worse. So before we get into the writing down what's good about us, let's get ourselves into a good state. So let's, the ways I get myself into a good state is I go out into the garden and dance wildly. You don't have to do that. You could just stand in the Wonder Woman power pose for 2 minutes. There's science behind that to suggest that it will make you feel more confident, connect you with your best self, basically. You could spend some time with your shoulders back, just thinking about a time when you have conquered something in your life, even if it's just surviving a messy divorce, or, nursing your mum through a terrible illness, something like that you have, it felt bloody awful, but you survived it. Just to get yourself into that powerful place, just to remind yourself of who the best person is, the best of you is. So get yourself into that good state. It could just be as simple as, dancing to an Irish jig as well. I love doing that. It could be the bend and snap. You could do the bend and snap from Legally Blonde. Just Google it. It's amazeballs. Whatever it takes for you to get into a positive frame of mind, as simple as that. And then let's spill. So let's think about and really write down the things that are great about us. So it could be, and don't do an eye roll when you hear these things, because your brain, when you hear these things that I'm listing off, your brain will either think, well, I don't have that, or it might think, oh, that's bollocks, everyone has that. But just humour me, let's just write them all down. Let's just go for it. So, for example, I've just written down a few off the top of my head. How many treatments have you done? Now, that might be a tricky one because a lot of you haven't done that many treatments. But how many treatments do you do? How many days a week, for example, do you do? So, one of the things that a lot of practitioners might not think of as a positive is that they actually do a regular clinic. So you could be saying, if you aren't able to say, oh, I've done, dozens of treatments, you could say, well, I run a regular clinic every week, and I'm able to therefore provide continuity of care for my patients. And it means I get to have long-term relationships. A bit like, back in the day when we used to have our GP when we were kids, and it always used to be the same GP, didn't it? Obviously it's different now, but a bit like that. That's something that might work in your favour if you always come to a particular salon and you come there regularly and you're treating people, or you might have lots of treatments. I mean, Tim's done tens of thousands of treatments. Obviously, you probably don't have that, but these things actually are an asset that you can say. I mean, even if you say, so let's say that you have done, I don't know, let's say 100 lips, something like that. You can be saying, I would be impressed if someone said to me, well, I've done dozens of these treatments. As long as they're saying it to me with certainty, that would feel like a benefit to me. So how many treatments have you done, or how regular are your clinics? What about your professional qualifications or your profession? So again, I'm sure you probably already think that it's good that you are a medical professional, but I just don't think people are talking about it enough. They really aren't. I think a lot of people are, but I don't think enough people are. People sort of bitch and moan about the beauty therapists, but they don't actually talk about the fact that they aren't that and what that means. So for example, you need to explode that out, and it's not for now because I want to keep this quite short, but what does it actually mean? Tim, my esteemed husband, amazing, Dr. Tim Pierce, if you go onto his Facebook page, if you go into the videos section, there is a video of him talking about this. So he says, you as medical professionals, you need to actually start talking about why it's good that you are a medical professional. And do you know what? I never hear anyone saying this, and it would have to be messaged correctly, but one of the reasons it's so good that you are a medical professional is because you are registered, of course, with NMC, for example. But why is that important? Of course, it means that they keep you in. You have to do your appraisals and whatever. So you're keeping yourself up to date. But also, the reason that going with a medical professional instead of a beauty therapist is good is because, or one of them is because, when the shit hits the fan, you've got something to lose, which is why you wouldn't take the piss. Now, again, that's quite a nuanced thing to say, but this is an example of, because you'd lose your pin. This is an example of the kind of thing that we need to explode out. And if we're thinking that we need to do a piece of content into our social media once a day, then, there's lots to be going at, isn't there? You may as well try and explain something as nuanced as that. Anyway, I'm going off on one really. So medical professional, you maybe that you invest a lot in training. So have you invested thousands of pounds in training? You know, I was speaking to someone just the other day who had invested £20,000 in training. Well, that's a shitload of money. You wouldn't necessarily mention the exact amount, but you could say, I regularly invest in training. I keep myself up to date. I love training. I'm always, you know, attending all the recent events. So again, it might be something you're already saying, but get it down on this asset register. Do you have a wonderful support network? You know, at Skin Viva Training, we had a beautiful closed Facebook group of 1,500 people on there, and we're always helping each other out. You know, do you have somewhere that you can go to? Close colleagues? Do you have a local mentoring group? What is it? How, you know, peers around you who could help you if something were to go wrong? Again, you wouldn't use the words if something were to go wrong, but you know, there's a way of saying it. Do you have a particular ethos around not being pushy? So you would never push a treatment on people. Indeed, you have refused treatments. Do you have gorgeous chats with clients? You know, are you just getting to these gorgeous conversations that end up that, you know, that you mean that you start having a brew and next thing, you know, you're talking, setting the world to rights, and people really value that. Again, there's a way of messaging it, but I love that kind of thing with my various places that I go for my beauty treatments. Not everywhere, but sometimes I really love to get into those kinds of conversations. It means a lot to me. I feel like some of these people that I see are my friends. Are you the lip queen? Do you just absolutely love lips? You know, it's your passion. You know, is there a particular treatment that you love? Are you very keen on the whole face approach? So you won't just treat things in isolation, that you're not just a vending machine, you know, just dishing out whatever the client tells you, that you're actually giving them the whole face approach. You're going to give them the gift of more knowledge about their face for them. That's very valuable. Are you caring and non-flashy? You know, people worry. Jill says she loves those conversations. I know I do as well. Do people worry that they are going to, you know, be sort of bludgeoned into things by some flashy man in a suit? Well, you know, who are you in comparison with that? Do you have fun with clients? You know, do you have a laugh with clients? Again, there's a way of saying that, but you know, that will appeal to a certain group of people. Do you have great reviews? And if you don't, make sure you get some good reviews. Though that can, you know, you can ask for them. Make sure you're actually asking for them. But if you have, you know, a good 10 good reviews, you can say that, you know, I've got great reviews. Do you have a great portfolio that, you know, you can say, come along for a free consultation and I'll gladly show you my portfolio. We can talk through the kinds of looks that we can achieve, something like that. Now, that was literally just something that I just rattled off in a heartbeat. But you could spend, you know, get the girls round, have a glass of Prosecco, get this thing rocking, get 15 things on there that you can be trotting out. And actually what's nice is that while you do that, you'll actually become more confident in the process. So that's going to help you, your asset register. The second thing I wanted to talk about, and I'll just talk about this very briefly because I do want to finish at past. But the second thing that you can the second thing that I want to explain about selling yourself on the phone is that actually you don't need to sell yourself. No one is ringing anywhere and going, hi, I want some Botox, right, you go, dancing monkey, dance and sell yourself. They don't want it. No one wants to hear about you, actually. And this is the Jedi mind trick. The key to effectively getting someone in front of you, basically, whether it be on marketing, whether it be on inbox, whether it be on phone, try and do phone as much as you can, it converts much better, is to listen. And someone said this actually on the thread that came up on the Mindset Warriors group, is that listen to what their problems are. Ask them more questions. What ticks their boxes? What's the situation? You could say a question as simple as, how long have you been thinking about having treatment? How long have you been thinking about having treatment? What a gorgeous question. Oh, well, if someone asked me that, I'd be like, right, I'd love to talk about myself, you know? If you ask that question, they'll open up. And then what's crucial is you can pick the appropriate element from your asset register to suit their needs. So if they say that they, you know, well, I had a bad experience with someone else, you know, they were dead pushy, great. Talk about how you aren't pushy, but you're able, because you've got your asset register, you're able to reel it off really quickly. And what you must ask them, and I didn't realize this until later on, to be honest. And, you know, either I wasn't really selling ourselves at the beginning or I kind of was a bit passive. Ask them, open them up, let them guide your conversation. And I promise you that the more that you ask questions that allow them to open up and delve, the more that they will gain trust in you anyway. Because human beings, we think we want to see someone's CV, but we don't really want to see someone's CV. We just want to know they're not an axe murderer and they're a nice person. So don't get all wound up in it. Do your asset register so that you're ready to go when the objections come, or when someone does reveal something that's important to them, so that you can go in and say, yes, that's important to me too. But don't get all wound up about it. Just ask them, speak to them, or ask them questions. If you want to be disciplined, say, I'd just like to ask a few questions first, if I may. They'll always say yes. Ask 3 questions minimum, and they will open up to you and a relationship will be formed. But you can't build a relationship by talking at someone. Right, my loves, a really quick one from me. I know I'm not normally that quick, but I want to scoot because I have a call at 9:30. But if you guys have found this useful, maybe just comment below, and I'm sure I could explode it out some more and do a longer live another time. I hope it has served you guys who might have a 10-minute coffee break tomorrow morning. I hope this has been of use. But yeah, let me know down below if there's anything else of this kind of practical nature, a little bit mindset-y, but also quite practical, that you would value. Maybe I could do another spin on it. Maybe I could do the structure of a great phone call, something like that, and explode it out a bit more. But let me know if this has been valuable. Drop me a 2 below. All right, take care, my loves. Bye.